Audio article by the Common Constitutionalist entitled, Gun Grabbers Are Just Trying to Make Maine a Safer Place. On November 4th, the Fiscal Times posted an article filled with hope for gun grabbers. They began by first bemoaning that the federal legislature, controlled by those waskily Republicans, has dropped the ball on gun control. Naturally, the reason is because all Republicans are beholden to the NRA and the gun lobby, not due to the second most important amendment in the Constitution. No, that can't be. But the silver lining, according to the Times, is that some states have the opportunity on Election Day to usurp the feds, and more importantly the Constitution, and pass their own gun restrictions, despite the fact that the Second Amendment holds preeminence over all state gun laws. When has this ever mattered to Democrats? The article states that 4 such states have their chance to act unconstitutionally. These are California, Maine, Nevada, and Washington State. Of course, this article wouldn't say such a thing. I'm just pointing out what the true intent of their ballot initiatives are. As Maine is right next door, I decided I would concentrate on it. Lucky for me, one of the anti-gun nuts the Times quotes is from Maine. Unfortunately, Congress hasn't shown a willingness to act, Nick Wilson, executive director of the Maine Gun Safety Coalition, said in an interview on Thursday. Until we see a change in Congress, then we're going to have to do it at the state level. Now, not that I expect the Fiscal Times or anyone they quote to mention it, but neither the word Constitution nor Second Amendment ever appears. It's as if they don't exist, which is intentional. The Maine Gun Safety website boldly exclaims on its homepage to vote yes on Question 3 on November 8th. The blurb explains that Maine Gun Safety Coalition, or the MGSC, is responsible for successfully passing background checks legislation in the House and Senate in 2013, prior to being vetoed by Governor LePage. We are currently championing Question 3, a statewide referendum closing the private sale loophole on the November 2016 ballot. The unrestricted sale of guns in Maine increases the risk of homicide, domestic violence, deaths, suicides, and law enforcement injuries. Well, I guess that was a tough break in 2013, not only for MGSC, but for the residents of Maine, who since then have undoubtedly had to endure a tragic uptick in homicide, domestic violence, deaths, suicides, and law enforcement injuries. So let's take a look at how Maine has fared since that 2013 veto of common sense legislation. In July of this year, Maine was ranked the #1 most peaceful state in the Union, despite having almost no restriction on gun ownership. 24/7 Wall Street generated an index to rank the peacefulness of each U.S. state. Quote, states with high violent crime and homicide rates, as well as high estimated small gun or arms ownership and high incarceration rates, were identified as less peaceful, while states with lower incidence of these factors were more peaceful. According to our index, Maine is the most peaceful state, while Louisiana is the least peaceful. In practically all reasonable accountings of gun violence and violent crime, Maine has ranked either 49 or 50 out of 50 states since that fateful day in 2013. This despite the fact that Maine is ranked #2 in the nation for gun ownership per capita. In fact, it has gotten worse for gun grabbers in Maine, as the state just passed a law last year allowing residents to carry open or concealed without a permit. For those who revere the Second Amendment and the safety of you and your loved ones, Maine, in fact, is nirvana. Here are some which will drive the left crazy. Handgun ownership is unrestricted, no permit or license required. Ditto for rifle and shotgun ownership. Same goes for semi-automatic assault weapon ownership. Unrestricted, no permit or license required. Even machine gun ownership has no state restriction, but must comply with federal laws. So once again, the left is proven wrong regarding guns and everything else they wish to control. As we on the right have claimed, and how the data always confirms, more guns do not equal more violence as long as the good guys are allowed to own and carry them. Thank you for listening.